Imagine a small change in history. It's the early 1960s, the world is tense after the Cuban Missile Crisis, and instead of stepping back from the brink, one misread signal or rash command sends the United States and the Soviet Union into direct conflict. The cold in Cold War evaporates in an instant. What would have happened if those decades of nuclear standoff had exploded into a full-scale war? The setting is familiar. Nuclear weapons poised on hair-trigger alert, spies and surveillance catching fragments of each other's moves, military exercises that sometimes looked like the real thing. In this alternate timeline, perhaps a radar glitch convinces Moscow that US missiles are inbound, or a miscommunication during the Cuban Missile Crisis leads to an actual launch order. The first minutes decide everything. Once a single missile leaves its silo, the other side detects the plume, and the carefully rehearsed doctrine of mutually assured destruction goes into motion. Within moments, hundreds of missiles streak toward the sky. Sirens wail across both hemispheres. Submarines fire their own warheads from oceans around the globe. Cities, New York, Moscow, Washington, Leningrad, London, Beijing, are targeted within minutes. Civil defense systems try to shepherd millions into underground shelters, but warning times are far too short. The flash of a nuclear detonation outshines the sun. Temperatures at ground zero climb to those at the heart of a star. Shockwaves flatten buildings for miles. Firestorms consume entire metropolitan regions. In less than 60 minutes, most major industrial and political centers of the world are gone. An estimated hundreds of millions die on the first day. Hospitals that survive are overwhelmed, while infrastructure, electric grids, water systems, transportation, is shredded. Electromagnetic pulses disable communications across continents. Nations not directly struck face chaos as global trade collapses. Refugees surge across borders. Governments struggle to maintain order while dealing with fallout and fear of follow-up attacks. Beyond the initial devastation comes a slower catastrophe. Soot and ash from thousands of firestorms rise into the stratosphere, blocking sunlight. Temperatures plummet worldwide in a phenomenon scientists call nuclear winter. Crops fail across Asia, Africa, and the Americas. Even countries untouched by bombs face famine. Global food supplies shrink dramatically. Surviving governments ration grain while seas turn colder and ecosystems falter. Starvation could claim billions in the years that follow. With economies shattered, alliances unravel. Some local communities might form cooperative networks to survive, sharing food, knowledge, and protection. Others descend into conflict over remaining resources. Borders drawn on maps mean little when entire regions become uninhabitable. Technology regresses. Without global industry, replacement parts for machines and medicine vanish. Knowledge survives in fragments, books, microfilm, scattered archives, but the interconnected world of the mid-20th century splinters into isolated enclaves. Radiation zones slowly cool over decades, but the climate remains unstable. Species already under stress face mass extinction. Ocean chemistry shifts, and forests struggle to regrow in a colder, darker world. Humanity might endure in pockets, underground shelters, remote islands, high mountain villages, rebuilding slowly over centuries. Civilization would not end completely, but it would be irrevocably altered. The 21st century might arrive without global travel, without the internet, perhaps without electricity as a universal norm. Human history would reset on a harsher path. The real Cold War never turned hot thanks to diplomacy, restraint, and moments of sheer luck. A Soviet officer named Vasily Arkhipov refusing to launch a nuclear torpedo during the Cuban crisis, or Stanislav Petrov choosing not to report a false alarm of incoming missiles in 1983. Their quiet decisions kept history on the path we know. This thought experiment underscores how fragile peace was, and how much it still depends on human judgment. The weapons remain, even if the standoff has changed shape. If the Cold War had gone hot, our modern world of satellites, smartphones, and global culture would almost certainly not exist. Remembering how close we came is a reminder to safeguard diplomacy and to treat nuclear weapons not as abstract history, but as real forces whose consequences remain as catastrophic today as they would have been then. Enjoyed this cosmic thought experiment? Tap subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss the next What If journey. Rocket comment below. Which scenario blew your mind most, and what if should we explore next? If today's trip through the universe fascinated you, share this video with a fellow space lover.